Hey. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone, and happy Friday. Happy Friday as I wait for people to come in and say hi. Say hi, say what's up to your girl. Happy New Year, everyone. I hope that everyone had a great holiday. I hope everyone had a great New Year's Eve. And now we are in 2022. So, welcome back to Cultivating Conversations. Cultivating Conversations is a podcast where we have thought provoking dialogue about life, love, the pursuit of happiness, everything in between. We are in the middle of season 3. If this is your first time coming and joining me, welcome to my platform and happy new year to you. And if you are returning or coming back, hey, what's up? What's good? What's popping? I missed you all, but I needed to take this much needed break because I had a lot going on. My eyes itching. I had a lot going on with my beauty business. I had a lot going on with grad school, and everything just kind of like came to a halt. And I was like, I need to take some time. I was also working on my sophomore project, which I'm going to talk about tonight, that I'm really excited about. I'm nervous, but I am excited about it. So, Cultivated Conversations, there's no topic that is off limits. The whole purpose of Cultivating Conversations is to foster thought-provoking dialogue in the hopes that after our talk, that it will spark some conversation, hearts will be cultivated, so that whatever conversations that need to continue after the podcast, whether you have to have a conversation, a come to Jesus moment with yourself, you need to pick up the phone and talk to somebody and get things right. If you're married, you need to talk to your spouse. I just want to see us living whole, healthy, successful lives. I'm your host, Stacey T. I am an entrepreneur. I am a book author. I'm a podcast host. And I am a number of other things, all good things. So tonight I'm going to be talking about my sophomore project, Singlish. So that's one of the things that I was still working on while during the holiday season, just trying to tie up loose ends and get things together for that, because I wanted to start the new year with releasing the book. So I want to talk about what Singlish is, and talk about what it's not. Just to give you a pre-approach of what you should look for when the book launches in at the end of the month. So Singlish is my sophomore project, and I was talking about, I think it was on Christmas, I was talking about this pink ring. Hey TJ, I was talking about this pink ring that I started wearing. And for those of you who did not see my video, you can go back and look at it, but I'll tell you about it. I purchased this ring back in like 2015. It was after my divorce, and I felt uncovered, because one of the things with marriage is, as a woman, you are covered by your husband. And after divorce, and I've talked about divorce on my platform numerous occasions, and talked about how it is a severing of a covenant that is made with three people: you, your spouse, and God. But the severing comes between the two spouses. And when you go through a divorce as a woman, there is this air of feeling uncovered, because you don't have anybody to protect you. You don't, have the man there as your covering, because the husband is supposed to be the wife's covering, as Christ is to the church. And you lose that with the divorce. So I was feeling empty. I was feeling uncovered. And I was listening to, I was watching a a preacher preach for a women's conference, and he came out of the book of Revelations. I think it's 7 and 14. I don't remember the scripture, but I think it's 7 and 14. And it was talking, Paul was writing about how he went to heaven, and the Holy Spirit, Jesus was talking to him about the people who were at the altar and how they were dressed in white but dipped in the blood of the lamb. And the preacher was preaching about how white and red makes pink, and he made reference to the women that have been travailing, that have been hurt, but it's still like praising God and worshiping even in the midst of their pain, and so on and so forth. And I never looked at the color pink the same again. So, in an effort to do something to make myself, to kind of release or relieve the pain and the anguish and the abandonment and everything that comes with divorce, I went searching for a ring. So I went to JC Penney's and I purchased a ring, this pink ring. It was probably like $99. I purchased this ring and I started to wear it on my left hand. And then after a while, I was like, no, I'm going to wear it on my right hand because I don't want to bring that type of energy where I look married, but I'm not. I needed this because that could be one of the ways that we try to cover or mask the fact that we are single again. Okay. And I'll get into that a little later. So I started wearing it on my right hand, but I'm not a big, well, I wasn't a big ring wearer unless it was or it is an engagement ring and a wedding ring, of course. So I stopped wearing the ring. Stopped wearing the ring. And I'll get back to the ring in a minute because it's going to tie into, as you can see, my book. So I started, well, I'll talk about it now. I'll just finish off this story. So my publisher, when I sent my manuscript in and they got a chance to read it and go through the edits and things like that, I left it up to them to create the cover. I had no idea what I wanted the cover to look like. All I know is that I was obedient in writing the book. And this person, and shout out to Water Springs Media. Water Springs Media House is the publishing company for my sophomore book. And I'll get into that later, but they are an amazing company for anybody that's looking to do any type of literature, especially books. So the publisher did not know about this ring. She did not know, the head of the company, she did not know about the story behind the ring or the ring. And when she sent me the cover is pink diamonds. And she gave me her, she pitched the idea of what, pink diamonds represent and how she thought it would be so great for the cover of the book. And I was like, Lord, you are so intentional, because I truly had a full circle moment. So I went into my closet, I dug through all of my old jewelry, and I found the ring, and I immediately started wearing it. So I started talking about it like a month back or so, when I started wearing the ring, and I told you that I would tell the story about the ring. So this ring means so much to me, and the book means so much to me, and even the more so because when I purchased this ring, I had no idea that I would, some 6 years later, be writing a book about being single. I had no idea, but God knew, and He's just so intentional about what He does. So here we are. The book is going to be out later on this month, and I'll get into it. So Singlish is my sophomore project. For those of you who do not know, I published my first book, Where Do I Go From Here? Redefining Yourself After Heartbreaking Brokenness. And that book is a 21-day guide on how to recover and heal in a healthy manner from divorce or a rough breakup. And what I didn't realize, I published that book in 2016, long before, because there's a lot of devotionals out there, right? And there's so many devotionals that have been written, great devotionals. But I was, I didn't even realize that that's what I was doing when I was doing it. It's not so much a devotional, but it kind of reads like a devotional. For that first, come on, book, that way. For that first book, what I did was, I used to journal a lot. Are you gonna stay? No, I used to journal a lot. Because journaling was a means for me to deal with the heartbreak and all of the things that came with my divorce and everything that happened in my first marriage. So I used my journals that I had been journaling for 10 years. I had about 11 or 12 journals. I used excerpts from my journal to serve as a catalyst for each 21 chapters of the book. So I did that in 2016. I released that in 2016, and it was great because it was specifically for those who had been in a relationship and had to suffer through a divorce. Not knowing that some years later I would kind of come full circle or do the continuation of it, even though it's not a continuation because this is a totally different name of the book, but it's kind of like a continuation because it's like, okay, now that you are single again, now what? Like literally, where do we go from here? So Singlish, I wrote it during the pandemic in 2020 because, we're home. And ironically, I was writing another book, and I got maybe three quarters through the book that I was writing, and I had writer's block. And writer's block is when like you cannot think about what to write. Like it seems like all of your creativity dries. I couldn't think. I didn't know what to write. And I couldn't understand it. I'm like, I'm almost done with this book. Like, why isn't it coming? And I prayed one day, and the Holy Spirit told me, like, you cannot keep writing. Like, you stopped here because what you are to write about has not manifested yet. It hasn't come to fruition yet. So I was like, okay, well then at least I know why now. Like it's not just me, it's because the content hasn't flourished yet. So the Holy Spirit gave me the charge to write this 31-day journal for those who are single and single again. And I got really, really excited about it. Now, being single and singleness is not something that is often is getting more it's getting more attention now. um well, I'm gonna say it's getting more attention now. I feel like it's kind of getting the right attention almost, but not really, because a lot of single women, and I talked about this during the pandemic, a lot of single women were gravitating to men who were really zeroing in on single women who were vulnerable, who were looking for answers because they were looking for love. And there's probably one that I can say that really did it from his heart, but the majority of them did it because they knew that it was a big money maker. Because as women, we are nurturers, we take in information. And for a lot of single women, and I'm not ashamed to say this, a lot of single women, when you look at these men talking, it's almost looking like you have a big brother or a father figure, which a lot of women have missed. So it becomes like a psychological thing, right? Um, and I got excited because there's not nearly enough women talking about being single, um, especially in the church. There's not a lot done, and I mean like deeply rooted, specific, tangible things that are being done at large. At large. So I'm not talking about one entity because I'm not God, I'm not everywhere all at once. I know that there are ministries, there are book clubs and clubs that are doing things, but not nearly as much talking about singleness, especially while you're in your single state. I find that a lot of people talk about their singleness once they're married. And then they have a lot of like it's two types of people. They're either going to, in their married state, talk about being single, or they're not going to talk about it at all, as if it didn't happen, because they're so happy to not be single anymore because they didn't do singleness right. Everybody doesn't do singleness right. Now, I'm not saying that I am the poster child for singleness. I'm not saying that I have all of the answers. I'm still learning. But just like my first book, um, I know what I know, and I know what I know through experience, tangible experience. I'm not talking about something that I didn't go through, that I have not um experienced, and I'm not ashamed or afraid to talk about it. And I believe, and all glory goes to God. I believe that that's why he trusted me with it in my single state, because in order to really be able to talk about being single, and it really be effective, you have to believe it. Like, you have to be your own press. You have to believe what you are writing. Like, this is not a gimmick. This is not a get rich overnight thing. This is not something to give me clout, because here's the thing that sets the road that I'm going down from everyone else, or from a lot of people. A lot of people cannot talk about singleness without talking about relationships. They can't talk about singleness without talking about relationships, because relationship conversation is a big money maker. If you go into Clubhouse, if you go and look at the different videos on YouTube, those who are talking about relationships, they get a lot of numbers, because everyone is looking to be loved. People are looking to be loved. People are looking for partnership. People are looking for connection. The road that I'm going down is, before you get to that point where you even desire to want to be in a relationship, you first have to deal with you. You first have to deal with you. You first have to deal with your pain, the pain of your past, the pain of relationships, the decisions that you made, the complexities of the relationships that you've gotten into, and the hurts that resulted in those relationships. You have to deal with that, because a lot of times when people get married and things happen in their marriage, the things that happen in a marriage is not it's not a couple problem, it's a single problem, because most people do not deal with their singleness. In their singleness, they think that marriage is the cure for singleness. If I find somebody to love me, then I'll be able to deal with this. If I find a partner to do whatever with, then this will go away. And hey Janice, and because of that, you know what happens is that whatever you don't handle in your singleness, or being single again, is going to show up in your marriage. So my whole entire focus and purpose is to help us, because I'm in it too, to help us navigate the pain and the things that have happened in our singleness, and be able to stand flat-footed emphatically in our singleness, and be proud of it. And it does not mean that you don't want to be in a relationship. It does not mean that you don't desire to be married. But what it means is, while I'm waiting, I'm enjoying my life. I'm getting myself together. I'm making sure that I can meet or exceed the list that I have for the type of person that I want to be connected to and linked up with and married to. I want to make sure that I am everything to that person that I want them to be to me, and more. I don't want anything hindering. I don't want to be a stumbling block to somebody else. I don't want to create hurt for the person that's not for me, for the person that they are for. If you're following me, I don't want to hurt a man with my antics and my brokenness, and then we break up, and now he's hurt, and then he ends up hurting the person that really wants to love him, because I didn't know how to. I want to deal with the crevices and the inward things that we have going on, so that we can be prepared. And when we have these conversations, and when we meet somebody, we would, one, either be able to tell whether they are for us or if they're not for us. And if they are for us, then I've already dealt with my hurt. I don't need to go to counseling while I'm with you. When we go to counseling, when we are engaged, if we get to that point, then I'm not unpacking all of this stuff. Yeah, there's still going to be things. We're always going to be a work in progress until Jesus comes. But the things that we can help, the things that we can't deal with while we are single, we need to deal with them while we are single. And that's what Singlish is about. And I was excited. The other reason why I was excited to write it, set aside from the fact that I give God all the glory for trusting me with this task, but it was a testament to my own healing process. It was a testament to my growth. It was a testament to where I came from, because it wasn't but a couple of years ago that I was in a really, really, really bad place because of some things that had transpired. There was a wedding that was supposed to take place that did not, and I'm grateful that it didn't. And that was one of the other things, and just learning the lessons in the choices that I made. But what happened some years ago really put me in a position to possibly be stagnant for a really long time. And I mean a really long time. And it could have put me in a position where I shrunk back and shrunk down and was ashamed to even talk about being single again. You know, with the chatter and the laughter and all of the stuff that I've kind of touched on before, but never really gave a lot of energy to, because it and the people that surrounded it is not worth it. But it was those things that really could have stifled me. And because I did the work to heal, and I thank God that he did a quick work, I can stand and be confident in being single-ish. Okay, because single-ish is for the single, it's for the single again. It's for the single in dating. So you're single-ish. You're not married, but you're single. You're single, but you desire a relationship, or you was in a marriage and now you're single again. Because the other part of it is that there's not a lot of context and content for those who are single again. Okay, especially in the church at large. The church at large. Again, I am not speaking about one institution in particular. I'm talking about the church at large, because we know that marriage represents Christ in the church. And when marriages fail, it seems like it puts a stain on God, because when two people come together, let no man put asunder, but did God bring them together? And it's all of these variables, which is why God, Jesus wrote the decree for divorce to be allowed in the first place, only for certain circumstances. Okay. Um, and I'm not going into those circumstances, and I'm not going to give a list of why or why not, because at the end of the day, it is up to those two individuals. And if one person is desiring a divorce and the other person isn't, it's wrong for that person to be dragged under the bus with the person that is seeking it. Because how can you be in a marriage by yourself? How can you be in a ring fighting by yourself? You can't. Okay. So here we are at the sophomore project. So I talked about what is Singlish. What is Singlish? I talked about who it's for. Singlish is a 31-day devotional. And like my first book, and like most devotionals, it's not um it's not meant to be finished in 31 days. Sometimes some days may take longer than the other, because after each chapter, yes, I give homework. Again, I give homework, because I want it to be tangible. I want you to be thinking critically about where you are, whether good, bad, ugly, indifferent, wherever you are. It's okay, because what it is that we have to acknowledge where we are, and then do the due diligence to make sure that we don't stay there. Okay. Yes, it single, and again, that is why this book is for those who are single. But that's why I had to add that caveat to the title, and it's throughout the thread of the book, is being single again, because oftentimes those, and I've talked about this on my platform, I've gotten on my soapbox, those who are single again do not have a space. I don't like to use the word divorced. I will never use the word divorcee. I didn't write it in my book. I won't say it. Sometimes I might slip up or start to slip up because it's just something that's like catchy. But I do not like using the word divorcee. Why? Because when you use the word I am a divorcee, you are automatically labeling yourself. You're labeling yourself and you're putting like this stamp of being a divorcee. No, you're single again. You're single again. Because I feel like the word divorcee is just like this yoke that is around your neck that you drag with you, and it's something that you have to continue to relive over and over again. I'm a divorcee because I've been through a divorce. That's always the undercurrent of who you are, and it's not. It's not. It is an event. It is something that takes place, and it is a severing. And once that thing is severed, it is dead. So if it's dead, we let the dead be dead and we take up our life and we keep it moving. I'm single again. And because there are not enough resources and there is not enough conversation for those who are single again, because people think that it's a tough topic, which is not. Um, I really wanted to add that. I really wanted to create that space for those who are single again, because there are those who are single, as in never being married, who cannot. There's certain things that they cannot they can't attest to. They don't understand being single again. And it's not like, okay, well, you're giving as much thought to it as you are as saying divorcee. No, it is creating a space because there's so many phases that a person who goes through a divorce goes through. It's not a one night thing. It's not you go to the court, you get a lawyer, you sign the papers, you divide everything up and you walk away. That's it. It does not work like that. Anybody that says it does, they are a liar. There's hurt, there's pain, there's regret, there's abandonment, especially if there's infidelity, it's the anger, it's all of those things that you have to deal with while trying to rediscover who you are as a single person, because nobody gets married to get divorced. Nobody gets, most people, they don't get married with the intent to divorce. You say those vows and you mean them, for better or for worse, till death do us part. And then things happen. And things happen. And then you end up divorced. And it's not what people think it is. It's not an easy road. It's painful. It's painful. Don't let these people who, are single again and they out here and they living their best life. No. Now, the relief of not being connected to somebody who was toxic or hurtful or things like that, yes, it has its place. People have divorce parties. Okay. But late in the midnight hour, during the holidays, during those triggers where there are colognes and perfumes and favorite places to eat and all of those things, those triggers are something else, okay? And they will come and now, yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the thing is that Crowned in Glory, I'm glad that you said that, because that is the whole purpose of the book. Before you get back out there, before you have the desire to, there are some things that need to be hashed out. There are things that need to be released. You literally have to figure out who you are all over again, because the single person to the married person to the single again person, those are three different people. And for those who are single again, having to go through, and God forbid you didn't know who you was when you were single, and then you got married not knowing who you were, and then you created your entire identity around a man or a woman, if you're a man and you marry a woman in a marriage, and then you become single again, and all of that is taken away from you. Who are you now? Who are you now? And that is one of the toughest questions a person has to ask themselves. And a lot of people don't ask themselves that. So what do? They end up trying to mimic somebody else. They end up trying to be like somebody else. They end up being carbon copies of, like, it's dangerous. And then not only you get back into the dating scene, you get remarried, and your spouse is marrying a stranger, and you are marrying a stranger because you don't even know who you are. I can't tell you as my husband who I am because I don't know who I am. And those are the things that sneak up in marriages, because divorce is not a marriage problem. I will keep saying it. It's a singleness problem. Most of the issues that happen in marriage are because things were not handled in your singleness. And that is what this book is about. It is about dealing with those things in your singleness so that you have a clear mind and you have a clear heart to be able to see who is for you and who is not. Okay? Um and that's I'm following my notes here. That's basically the message behind the book. Coming to discover who you are as a single man, as a single woman, especially as a single woman. So this book is based on the cover, based on the color, and all of those things, the pink diamonds. Yes, I am coming for my sisters. Yes, I am coming for women. I'm coming for women. Now, a man could most certainly pick up the book, but here's the thing. I'm not a man. So I did not want to write the book with the idea that this is gender neutral, because here's the thing: men hurt differently, they deal with things differently. Now, the book is based on, it is scriptural based because it is a devotional, it is scripture based. But I speak from my experience as a woman because I am a woman. Okay, I am a woman. That's the only thing that I can speak from. I can't speak from a man's perspective. I can certainly speak from the feeling from a man, like what happens as a result of how a man acts. But I can't talk about his actions because I'm not a man. I'm a woman. And being a woman, one, I have extensive experience on being single and single again, because one, we all were born single. Nobody was born coming out the womb with two rings and a license, a marriage license. And two, I have been married, and I have been in a relationship. I've been engaged twice, married once, and I'm single again. And this is for the first time in my life, I'm in control. I'm in control. I'm in control because I gave my control to Christ. I gave my control to Christ. So I'm in control, if that makes sense. And unless you're there, you will understand. Okay. I have sound mind and I have a clear heart. So I'm able to, for my life, I'm able to see the red flags, and I'm able to bow out gracefully from anything that does not serve me. And it's because, you know, I dealt with me. I deal with me. Okay. I deal with me. And that's one of the things that we don't like to do as humans. We don't like to deal with ourselves. We are so good at dealing with everybody else. We're so good with talking about who should have done this. Well, if I was them, I would have did this because I would never, and I would never, and this, that, and the third, and blah, blah, blah. But then when it comes to yourself, it's mum's the word. You don't want to deal with those things. And I'm one of those persons, those people who I'm a realist. So if the sky is blue, then it's blue. I'm not going to try to convince myself, well, maybe if I squint enough, it'll look a little orange, it'll have a pink hue. No, it's blue. What are we going to do about this blue sky? And that's how I deal with my life. This is what has happened. This is what has taken place. This is the reality of it. What am I going to do about it? Okay. And because of that, my relationship and my conversations with God have been very, very transparent. And I've had to discover some hard truths about myself. Some things that I'm like, okay, well, I need to fix that because what? Like, Stacey, what is you doing? Like, what? Because I talk to myself. So that's what this whole movement, and I'm gonna call it a movement, of being Singlish is about. It is about dealing with your pain, dealing with your past, and being able, while you are in the state that you are in, as Paul said, being content about the state that you are in, being content about being single, and being okay with it until your status changes. Okay, living your life, celebrating others, all of those things are talked about in the book. Celebrating others, dealing with jealousy, dealing with bad relationships, dealing with yourself, dealing with your triggers. That is what this book is about. And I forgot to do my banner to talk about what I'm talking about. um so yeah, so that is what the book is about. Again, it's 31 chapters, 31 days. I'm looking for some great things to come about it. I'm not trying to convince anybody to be single for the rest of their life. Okay, that is not what this is about. I have to sneeze. And I'm waiting for it to come out. Um excuse me. I do not have COVID. I was dog sitting, and I think that I'm allergic to certain pets, certain types of dogs, because after the dog left, my allergies have just been on 1,000. So excuse me. But I forgot what I was saying. But in any case, so what's next? So if you look here, let me move this because thank you. If you look here, so the book goes on sale for pre-order on Monday, this Monday, January the 10th. Okay, really excited. The book is going to be released on January the 24th, but pre-orders start on the 10th. So what is included in the pre-order? In the pre-order, there are two types of packages. So one is just the book, an autographed signature, personalized autographed signature of the book, which is going to be on sale. So it's just the book. And then I have a Minding My Singleness bundle. So what comes in the bundle? In the bundle, you will get the book, you will get the Singlish t-shirt, which I'm just so excited about. And then you'll get a candle, compliments of my beauty brand, I Design Beauty. So you can wear your t-shirt, you can light your candle, you can get a pen, and you can dig into the book and start doing the hard work on making 2022 the best year of your life, and have the best subsequent years thereafter. So that is what is happening. I'm going to be dropping the link on Monday, the 24th. I know you see a wonderful water bottle here. So as time goes on, I'm going to have more merchandise because I really want us to take advantage of this season, because it is a season. There are some who do not wish to be married, okay? And that's fine. You know, marriage is a gift. Marriage is something that you have to be groomed and prepared for. It has to be a desire. And if that is not your desire to be married or your desire not to be married again, then that's fine. I would just want for you, for your singleness to be flourishing, for your singleness to be everything that you want it to be in the absence of a spouse. Okay, if that is not what you desire, that's fine, because here's the thing: there are still ways to hurt those who are around you. Unless you have never been in a relationship ever in your life, 9 times out of 10 we have dealt with heartache. And sometimes for some people, they really do want to be married, but they're so scarred at what has happened and taken place in their life that they say, I don't want to be married. I don't want, because I was there after this last bout. I was like, yeah, no, I'm not, but that's not what God has for me. So I had to sit down and deal with my stuff so that, I so that I don't bleed on other people. Okay. Um, okay, we'll work it out. I understand. We'll work it out. Um, I had to deal with me, and I dealt with me, and I'm in a different place now. I'm in a different space now. For those of us who desire to be married, I still want us to be living our best life now. There is no reason, whether you are single or single again, there is no reason why you should be holding off on certain things in your life until you find a boo. There's no reason why you should not be able to walk into any type of event by yourself, as fierce as you are, with your head held high, unapologetic about not having arm candy next to you, or you being somebody else's arm candy. Now, if you got a date, then do you, boo. Like, listen, it's all right. But if you don't, that's no reason to stay home. That's no reason to sulk. That's no reason to decline that RSVP because I don't have anybody to go with, and I don't want people looking at me weird. Let them look. Let them talk, especially if they know about what has happened in your life. Let them talk, because here's the thing: there are a lot of married people who wish they were single. There are a lot of married people who are living as if they are single. Whether you are the one out here bumping and grinding and doing your thing as if you don't have a husband or a wife at home, or whether you are the husband or the wife at home acting as if you are a single parent while your spouse is out doing God knows what. So it's better. To there's no reason to hide or shrink down from being single. You're just in that stage where you're waiting. You're just in that stage where you are improving you. You're just in that stage where you are waiting for the person that is meant. Let me tell you, I posted this post, and I was watching the Tamron Hall show, and Halle Berry was on it, and Halle Berry has, she's been married a few times and she has children. And, there's been this notion about like beautiful women, like they're crazy. And, there's something probably wrong with her, which is why she can't, find a man at this and the third. And now it looks like she's in a very mature, very loving relationship. And she was talking about how she met the person during the pandemic while we were in quarantine. So they wrote letters to each other, and they talked on the phone, and there was no physical contact. There wasn't any seeing one another for a long time, and how it was so great because they got to know the core of who each one another was, and Tamron Hall talked about how, she has said when she was younger, I think she said it on Oprah. She said something, she made a comment about how she was, and I'm paraphrasing, she was basically just looking for somebody to have a baby with, and the result, That's what happened. And Tamara Hall asked her, like, what does she think now about what she said um in her 20s or whatever. And she talked about like how we have to be careful about the words that we speak because the words manifest. And now she's in a place, and she said, and I quote, she said, at my age now, the way that I feel is I will go without before I go with wrong. And it just flew out of her mouth like that. I will go without before I go with wrong. And one of the things about being single, and especially single again, is that for the sake of not going without, we will go with wrong. Or for the sake of not being able to decipher what is good for us and what is not good for us, who is gold and who is gold plated, who is a diamond and who is not even a cubic zirconia, but who is a piece of glass. We can't decipher that because we'd rather go with than be without. And she said, I would rather go without than go with wrong. And that thing resonated with me in such a way. And that is when you know that you are in control of your heart. You are in control of your members. You are in control of your mind. And you will not allow society, whether it's whether it's overall society or whether it's church, who pushes marriage for the sake of not fornicating, who pushes marriage for the sake of, being, together so that you don't slip up being single. It's almost like, um, what? It's almost like, I have to put somebody in timeout. I'm sorry. That's how I know the Holy Spirit is moving, because these fools come up in YouTube. But and that's how you know that you have grown. That's how you know you have crossed over, where you can be just content in where you are while you wait. So that's what Singlish is about. That is the story behind the book. I am so excited about everything that this book is going to do. I'm excited about getting it into your hands, in your heart. I'm excited about the book clubs and the focus groups and the single groups that is going to go through this devotion. I'm so excited to sit and talk more intimately with groups, whether it be in person or in Zoom, about certain parts of the book. I am just so excited about this new phase in my life. I'm excited about 2022. I'm excited that I'm in a place where I could write this book unapologetically, that I didn't wait until I was married and out of the single state to talk about it. I thank God that I'm in a place where, and even in this phase of being single again, in dating, in all of those things, like, it keeps me honest to myself, where the very things that I wrote about, which is a lot of my experiences, whether I experienced it or whether I was the result of somebody else's experience, it keeps me true to the core of who I am. It keeps me true, because the last thing that I want is to write something that is not true to what I've experienced. And that's why I'm so passionate about this book, because I've experienced it. Those who know me have lived and watched me go through many phases, watched me from being engaged to hurt, to down at my darkest and deepest point, and literally watched the Lord heal me. I mean, literally from week to week, from Sunday to Sunday. Watched me cry out to the Lord unapologetically. Watched me praise my way out of the pain, out of the despair, out of the demonic um the demonic interference, like just so much. And I'm where I am now by the grace of God, and I'm honored, and I'm grateful, and I'm glad that I'm able to share this experience, and I'm able to share um what it means to be singlish with so many who may be having issues with it. Again, I'm not the poster child for it. I'm not the poster child for singleness. I do not have all of the answers, but I do know a God who does. Okay? I do not have all of the answers. I don't have half of the answers, but I know a God who does. And he was able to use me for his glory, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I want to shout out Water Springs Media House, who is an amazing, amazing publishing company. Um, she has been in business. I think she launched the year that I did my first book, which I self-published. And so that was in 2016. So we're in 2022. So she is definitely not an overnight wonder. She is not one of those who, excuse me, published one book and then decided that she was going to be this whole thing. She did her homework. She knows what she's doing. And I'm grateful to her and her team. And I'm grateful to you. Like I said, I cannot wait for you to get it into your hands. Like I said, the link is dropping on Monday for the pre-orders for the book or for the bundle. And if you can't get the bundle right now, it's okay. Each individual item will eventually go on sale after the book is released. So if you can, I would tell you to get the bundle because it's going to be at a cheaper price together because it is a promo deal rather than waiting until they are a la carte. All right. So I'm under an hour. I'm excited. So my name is Stacy T. This is Cultivating Conversations. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight. If you are watching this in a replay, then just hashtag replay and let me know that you were here. Drop me a note. If you have any questions, you can drop it in the comment section, or you can inbox me. If you know me well enough, you can shoot me a text. And I love you guys. So listen, Cora is out here being ghetto. We have the Omicron variant. So many people are getting sick. So please be careful. Mask up. Don't only think about yourself. Think about others. Make sure you drink your water. And as I always say, drink your water. Mind your business. And yeah, so I love you guys. Have an amazing weekend. Cheers to a wonderful and successful 2020. No matter what your state is, whether you are single, whether you are single again, whether you are married, I pray nothing but God's very, very best for your life, for your marriages, the marriages that are already in motion, the marriages and the engagements that are soon to come, because I believe that when you finish this devotional and when you really dig deep and you unearth and excavate all of the dirt and the muck and the unforgiveness and all of those things, I cannot wait to see you be presented to the man that God has for you and be on your way down the aisle without hesitation, because you would have dealt with all of your hurt and all of your pain and being content and living your life as a single person. And then you can just pick up your partner and then just keep moving and just have a wonderful life. That's what I want for all of us. Okay? That is what I want for all of us, honestly and wholeheartedly. So I love you all. Have a great weekend. Stay safe, and I will see you next week.